Megan, this is the first time you've been on with me. I was out the first time you were on. Welcome to Fast Market. How you doing?
I'm doing good. I know. I'm so glad to join you for the first time.
LikeFolio has never looked better from this way, just so you know. So, Facebook's an easy one to talk about in terms of social media, and it's a great way to finish out the week because this stock is amazing in terms of the overall pressure on it from all different sides. But a couple things you don't realize is how much money they make and how important they are in advertising. But from a social media perspective, how do you guys see Facebook?
You know, we track a lot of brands within Facebook. A lot of people don't realize the scope of what that company owns. You know, you're talking Facebook Messenger, Instagram, WhatsApp, and in general, we're seeing some positive growth, especially, you know, moving into Q1 from Q4. We've seen sentiment return to normal levels. I think this is an excellent chart to look at because you can really see how innovative they are. You can see whenever they launched Instagram stories, you know, this was Facebook's response to Snapchat. And you can see them begin to recapture any users that had fled to Snapchat. And I think it's important to note that, you know, each platform has a different demographic, and they did a really excellent job at capturing, you know, the growth that Snapchat was experiencing. You can see in this chart, Snapchat was growing. They released Instagram stories and essentially crushed the competition while at the same time, you know, revitalizing their user base. So I think that was a really incredible power move on their part.
Megan, correct me if I'm wrong. When Snapchat came out, what Instagram really did was basically take their strongest segment and duplicate it and actually make it a little better, right? I mean, that's lethal
exactly right.
if you're a competitor of theirs.
Yeah, you know, I think you're exactly right. And honestly, Facebook had no shame. They didn't even try to name it something different. You know, they were Snapchat stories, and now they call them Instagram stories. So that was such an easy transition, I think, for users. And then especially when Snapchat released that update to their platform, Instagram was able to capitalize on that even more. So, you know, the ability to either, you know, keep up with your competition, that's just so key for them.
Megan, it's important that we talk about what's going on with Facebook in terms of media coverage and how much scrutiny they're getting in stories. Like, I literally sat at my desk the other day and say, I don't know who Mark Zuckerberg made angry, but he seems to have made the whole media industry angry at him. How do you guys see public sentiment against or for Facebook?
Honestly, they've been trending up at the end of 2018. They had a brief dip with the Cambridge Analytica scandal. I think that privacy is a big issue for consumers, but in general, we're not seeing users flee the platform. We're still seeing growth. We're still seeing more people using it and increasing their usage. So I think that's, you know, for Facebook, that's a positive indicator.
All right, let's dive into some of the data that we see here. And for that, we bring in Miss Evelyn Baker, first time on the show. Welcome, Evelyn.
Thanks, I'm excited, happy to be here.
All right, and this is it. We gave you an easy one today, Facebook.
Right.
There should be plenty of social media on Facebook, right?
And there is, you know, people are always talking about Facebook,
right.
And it's really interesting to see how people talk about one social media platform on another, Twitter, right? And they talk about like how they're using it and whether or not they're using it. That's a big one.
The older people, now tell me, this is a demographic talk, isn't it? Because the older demographic uses Facebook more, the younger uses Instagram more, right?
Right, in which, I mean, like Megan was saying, Facebook owns both, so they definitely have the whole demographic in their hands. But you know what, my mom, she has an Instagram and I'm still on Facebook. Whether or not we use it the most, we still have it. So it's still, you know, a boon for their company.
All right, let's hear some tweets.
All right, so our first tweet is from Willie. Market loves to hate Facebook, but users and advertisers don't share the same sentiment. And so this
it is in a nutshell, isn't it?
Right. And this week, Facebook decided to or agreed to overhaul its targeted targeted advertising system. And I'm wondering, do you think that's going to hurt some of its paid advertisers, which is a very big source of revenue?
Megan, so this is exactly what I was asking you about. This tweet kind of encompasses it, but you know, the numbers that Facebook put out last time they had earnings, better, right? Everyone thought the users would go down, they're going up.
Exactly. I think the stock popped about 12% because they released record revenues from advertising. And I think it's important to note the importance of their full, toolkit or tool bucket of all of these brands, because I think moving into the future, they anticipate a lot of revenue to be coming from Instagram as well. So, they're able to diversify where they're pulling in this ad revenue. And especially as now they just announced Instagram, you can make in-app purchases. Like, I think that's going to be huge. So they're taking steps to secure that revenue source.
Shopping on Facebook. Uh-oh, the next horizon. All right, Evelyn, give us the next tweet that you found.
I will, and that shopping on Instagram, though, is very dangerous for me in particular. I know they're going to get some revenue that way. But our next tweet is from Ross Gerber. Facebook stock under pressure. As we've been saying the whole time, there is a whole lot of bad stuff going on down there. This is a morally bankrupt company. Hashtag delete Facebook now. I think it's so interesting how Facebook is almost a very polarizing company.
Absolutely.
But there seems to be a lot of people who feel very negatively about it, but not so much on the other side. There's no one that I've really talked to who loves Facebook. It just sort of exists.
Yeah, Megan, it's one of those, delete Facebook now. Nah, maybe I'll do it later. And then no one does, right? And the advertisers know that. And this, I understand why people don't like Facebook. Some people think privacy is an important thing. Some people don't care about it. What do you guys see in terms of what your data shows versus this tweet, this delete Facebook? I don't see it anywhere. It's not in the numbers.
No, we saw a brief surge in those mentions right after the Cambridge Analytica scandal, but honestly, it was a flash in the pan. We did not see an exodus of users leaving Facebook. In contrast, we did see that with Snapchat, and I think that's reflected in what Snapchat's reporting. So, while users say delete Facebook, that's just not the behavior that we're recording. And I mean, where would you know when your friends' birthdays were if you didn't have Facebook, right?
Hey, listen, I communicate with college roommates and friends all over the country, and Facebook is the main way that we communicate with each other. And I can't, I understand that there's some issues with this, and everyone's worried about their data. Well, why do you think it's free? That's why it's free. Nothing, there's an old Bruce Springsteen song, right? The door's open, but the ride ain't free.